You know that feeling, right? You pull your favorite shirt from the dryer, and it's suddenly a size too small. We've all been there. But what if that little laundry mishap was actually costing a business millions of dollars? Well, today, we're diving deep into the science of shrinkage, a quiet battle being fought in laundry rooms everywhere, from our homes to massive industrial facilities.
I mean, it really does feel like a betrayal, doesn't it? You take good care of something you love, and your own washer and dryer just turn on you. One wrong setting and boom, it's game over for that perfect pair of jeans.
Okay, now imagine that feeling, but instead of one t-shirt, it's 10,000 hospital gowns, or a hotel's entire supply of bed linens. For these huge operations, shrinkage isn't just an annoyance. It's a massive hit to the bottom line, a constant, costly problem they're always fighting.
So, what is really going on here? Well, the answer is hidden inside the very threads of our clothes. It's a fascinating story of chemistry and physics, a molecular tug-of-war that decides whether your clothes will fit you next week. So, let's pull back the curtain and see what's really happening.
First, let's just get a sense of the sheer scale of this. Because when you look at the actual data from the industry, the numbers are, frankly, staggering.
So, check this out. A study took a bunch of 100% cotton lab coats and put them through 75 industrial wash cycles. The result? On average, they shrank by 7.2%. Now, that might not sound like a huge number, but it's more than enough to take a size large and turn it into something, well, not quite a large anymore. The garment is basically unusable long before it's actually worn out.
And this right here, this is where that percentage turns into actual money. A European workwear supplier saw their 100% cotton chef codes shrinking by up to 8%, so they made a switch to a poly-cotton blend. The shrinkage dropped to less than 3%, and get this, their replacement costs fell by 30%. 30! That is a huge saving, all from changing one little thing, the fabric.
So why? Why such a huge difference? Well, it all goes back to the fundamental building blocks of the fabric itself. It's really a tale of two very different materials, good old natural cotton and its synthetic rival, polyester.
Okay, this is really the heart of it all. On one side, you have cotton. It's a natural fiber, and its defining feature is that it loves water. It's what we call hydrophilic, and it soaks up moisture like a sponge. Polyester, on the other hand, is a synthetic plastic. It's hydrophobic. It literally hates water. Plus, during manufacturing, it's heat set, which locks its shape in place permanently. Even the fibers themselves are different. Cotton is all naturally twisted and stressed, while polyester is engineered to be smooth and stable.
And this chart just shows you the result of that chemical difference in the starkest terms possible. It's not even a contest. After 75 heavy-duty washes, the 100% cotton garment shrinks over 7%, while the 100% polyester one barely moves, shrinking just over 1%. The chemistry of the fiber is, without a doubt, the #1 factor here.
So let's zoom in on that word hydrophilic. It literally means water-loving. Think of every single cotton fiber as a tiny, thirsty sponge. When it gets wet in the wash, it eagerly absorbs all that water and swells up. Then, in the heat of the dryer, that water evaporates, and the fiber contracts, pulling the whole fabric inwards with it. And that, my friends, is shrinkage in a nutshell.
Now, polyester is a completely different beast. It's a thermoplastic. That's just a sciencey way of saying you can melt it down and mold it. During production, the polyester fibers are heated to a super high temperature, stretched out, and then cooled. This process locks the molecular chains into a stable, permanent shape. It's like making a plastic mold. Once it's set, it's set. It's just not going to change its shape in your laundry machine.
But wait, there's more. The story doesn't just end with the fiber. How you put those fibers together, the actual construction of the fabric, plays a huge role in how much it's going to shrink.
Think about your favorite cotton t-shirt. That's a knit fabric made of interlocking loops. Those loops have a lot of room to move around and distort, so when the water-loving cotton fibers do their swell and contract thing, the whole fabric can really pull in on itself. But a woven fabric, like you'd find in a dress shirt, is a tight grid of threads. It's much more rigid and stable from the get-go, giving the fibers way less room to shrink.
And if you really want to geek out, it goes one level deeper, all the way down to the yarn. You've got open-end cotton, which uses shorter fibers that are loosely twisted. It's cheaper to make, but it's more prone to shrinking. Then you have premium ring-spun cotton, which uses longer fibers twisted together much more tightly. That tight twist gives the yarn more integrity and helps it resist shrinking.
So, knowing that cotton has this natural-born desire to shrink, how do manufacturers fight back? Well, they've developed a whole arsenal of clever techniques to tame the fabric before it ever becomes a piece of clothing. One of the biggest weapons is a process called sanforization. You can basically think of it as forcing the fabric to shrink at the factory. They run the cloth through a series of rollers that physically compress the fibers together, squeezing out all that potential shrinkage so it doesn't happen later in your dryer.
Another really important process is called calendaring. Just imagine running fabric through a set of gigantic, heavy, heated rollers. It's like an industrial-scale ironing press. This flattens and compacts the fibers, which makes the fabric feel smoother and look shinier, but critically, it also makes it a lot more stable.
And you can see the difference so clearly here. On the top, that's the normal, untreated fabric. It looks a little loose, almost fluffy. But look at the fabric below after calendaring. It's visibly flatter, denser, more solid. That simple act of compressing the fibers helps lock everything in place and fight off future shrinkage.
Of course, the fight doesn't stop at the factory. Industrial laundries have this down to a science. They carefully control the load size to reduce physical stress on the clothes. They use a lower G-force on the spin cycle for delicate fabrics, and they meticulously manage dryer temps. And here's the key. They always finish with a cool-down cycle. That's to avoid thermal shock, yanking hot, relaxed fibers into the cool air too quickly, which can cause them to seize up and shrink. And hey, that's the exact same reason your dryer at home has a cool-down setting.
So, after all that, what's the verdict? Cotton? Polyester? A blend? Well, it turns out there's no single perfect answer. It's all about striking a very strategic balance between competing needs.
From one point of view, the choice is obvious. If you're a hospital or a huge hotel chain, your main concern is durability and cost. Polyester doesn't shrink, it lasts forever, and it holds its shape. That means fewer replacements, which saves a ton of money. It's the ultimate performance fabric.
But then again, performance isn't the only thing that matters, right? What about the person who has to wear that uniform for a 12-hour shift? That's where comfort comes in, and that's why many still choose polycotton blends. You still get a lot of the durability and low shrinkage benefits from the polyester, but you also get the soft, breathable feel of cotton. For many, it's the perfect compromise.
And really, it all comes down to this, the fabric trilemma. Every choice is a balancing act between three things: performance, which includes durability and low shrinkage; comfort, which is all about how it feels against your skin; and finally, cost and sustainability. The thing is, you can almost never get a perfect score in all three. Pushing for maximum performance might mean sacrificing some comfort, and so on. It's always a trade-off.
And that really brings the question right back to us, because whether you're outfitting an entire hospital or just buying a new pair of socks, the fabric you choose is a reflection of your priorities. Are you looking for something that will perform and last forever, or is comfort king? Or maybe the environmental impact is what matters most to you. What your clothes are made of says a lot more about you than you might think.